So hi Carson, welcome in.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Wrapping up my last semester of college. It's been kind of stressful.
Yeah, and how's that been going so far for you?
It's been good. A lot of my classes this semester are mostly just project based, so I'm kind of finishing all of those. So I'll be done soon, which is really exciting, but also scary at the same time.
That's good. Is there anything in the meantime that's kind of scaring you about graduating?
It's less about graduating and more about what I'm gonna do after graduation. I'm juggling a couple of offers right now, and I'm not entirely sure which direction I'm gonna take so far.
Okay, do you want to talk about those offers?
Yeah, the first offer I have is for a job back in my hometown in Kansas City. It's a full-time position at the church I grew up in, and I know a lot of people that work there, and I really like the environment, and they recently offered me a job as a children's minister, which is really exciting. But I also recently got an offer to go to Duke's Theological Seminary School because they offered me a scholarship. So I'm having to decide whether or not I want to move back to Kansas City and start a full-time job, or go to Duke and start my graduate studies with a scholarship.
Yeah, and is that giving you any reason to feel anxious, or is that affecting you in any way?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been it's kind of honestly ruining my last couple weeks of graduating. I've just been so anxious and stressed out, and less enjoying my last couple of weeks at WKU and rather worried about everything else.
Yeah, so
afterwards.
From what I'm hearing, you're a little anxious and stressed out about just finding your place in the post-education world, and really the decisions are really between this Duke Seminary School or between returning home to Kansas City and working as a children's minister.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to talk about the latter of those, about the children's minister position, and what you think the pros of that would be?
The pros are obviously it's a full-time position, which is really great out of college. I know a lot of people that work there already, but some of the cons is this is not an original idea I had exiting my college career. I never planned to be a children's minister, so it would be something that is very new to me.
And do you think that's mainly exciting for you and something that you'd like to do?
Yeah, I think that's really exciting because honestly, I really like working with children, but at the same time, the idea of going to Duke is because, school's very familiar to me. So starting my graduate career wouldn't be something that's as daunting as starting a career in something that I've never done before.
Yeah, so we've talked about the benefits of returning home and working in the child's ministry. Now let's talk about the benefits of going to seminary school.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the main benefit of going to seminary school would be for your future?
For my future, getting a head start on seminary would be really amazing because the seminary I'd be going to is part of the United Methodist Church, and that would give me a head start on my career in the United Methodist Church. A lot of people start later on in their lives, so I'd be starting a lot early, and it's also paid for. So that is also, of course, a benefit.
Yeah, for sure. Congratulations on
Thank
that,
you so
by the
much.
way. Yeah. So I understand that we're dealing with a little conflict between the choices, and we've talked about the pros. Now let's talk about the cons of each side. Let's start with the children's ministry position.
Yeah, like I said before, it's more scary. It's for sure something that I just have not done before. And also, I like the idea of moving back home, but at the same time, I've enjoyed being away from Kansas City for a while, so that's kind of a con, is moving back home after college.
And do you feel like that might make you a little trapped, or just you might you might want to find something else outside of Kansas City, and
Exactly.
you may just feel pulled into going to Kansas City?
Because college has given me a lot of freedom to explore things, so I feel like I would have more anxiety of feeling back in my hometown, which I'm sure, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, and then let's talk about the Duke Seminary School after that, the negatives.
The negatives of that is that I would not be starting my career. I would just be going back to school, which is fine because it obviously give me benefits to my career later on, but I would have to also find a job while I'm in graduate school there, which I'm not sure what I would do, in all honesty.
Yeah, and have you talked to anyone else about this at the university, possibly?
I've talked to one of the advisors there, and they've been kind of helpful. They do internship programs, obviously, with their graduate programs, but they're all unpaid internships, of course, most internships are. So I would have to get some sort of part-time job outside of my school, which I have not done before. So
Yeah, and I could definitely see that adding on a lot of extra stress for sure. So let's just talk about the anxieties that are kind of in between both. Like the overlapping anxieties, would you say, is that you're trying to secure a place in the future?
Yeah.
Like, for your career?
Yeah, it's like trying to figure everything out while also trying to be in the moment while I'm attempting to graduate right now.
Yeah, I get that, and that makes 100% sense.
Okay.
How do you normally cope when you're feeling negative emotions that come from like stress, or that come from you feeling just anxious in general?
Usually, like, especially like during college, I've really leaned on my friends that I've made in college because I feel like they understand the experiences that I'm having. But if I don't go to a friend about the anxieties that I'm having, I do have a problem with kind of like shutting myself in and kind of letting it eat myself up. But I try to just like go outside, get some air, kind of like what everybody else does. But really my friends are my biggest like lean on support type of thing as I've gone throughout my college experience and my classes.
That's good. And do you see your friends pretty often on a regular basis?
Yeah, I do. I live with about 5 girls actually, so that's been kind of really nice. We've all been able to kind of lean on each other throughout college, me and my 5 roommates, which can be its own anxiety within itself living with 5 girls. But it's also really nice because we built a little community, we all do our homework together. It's been really great so far.
That's really cool. Developing a personal group that you feel like you can thrive in is definitely a really important part of the college experience, and definitely something obviously we find is beneficial to how you succeed as well. So it's really great to hear that on your side.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what you said is shutting yourself in. What is this normally?
Yeah.
If you can just explain this in general.
When it becomes like too big of an anxiety that I feel like I can't go to my friends with, I kind of just like almost pretend it's not there, and I'll try to do like other things that don't involve that anxiety, and I will completely just like shut it out, go to my room, not think about it type of situation.
Do you feel like this issue between choosing between your job and your graduate school is something that you feel like you can go to your friends about, or do you feel like sometimes it's caused you to kind of just insulate yourself?
Some aspects of it I can talk about with them, but at the same time, none of them are in my same like degree program with religious studies or also going to the same type of grad program I am. So it's not really a situation that I feel like they can relate to with me. So it's been kind of like, that's why I feel like it's been such a big anxiety for me, because I've kept it to myself so much.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah.
And just asking about people in your graduation program, are you generally as close with them as you're as close with your friends, or how does that go?
I'm more close with them on like a colleague level, especially with my religious studies program. I don't really see them outside of the classroom. Only a few of them are planning to go to seminary after college. They're all going to Asbury in Kentucky, which I'm not planning to go to. If I do go to seminary, I would obviously go to Duke. But I mean, and they're all pretty set in stone about that, about going to seminary, the ones that are.
And have you talked to your friends, or your colleagues in your class about the anxieties that they may be going through, or just other similar issues that you all may be going through?
A little bit. They're all fairly excited about going to seminary, and they have the same excitements that I do about like kind of getting like a head start in their career in the church. So that's good for them, and I understand. But they also do share the same anxiety of me of finding a job while being in seminary later on.
Yeah, and we can talk about how I see these 2 jobs as one being a kind of permanent one, which the one in Kansas City, and the one in Duke, which is not necessarily a permanent job, just a seminary program, correct?
Yeah, it's more temporary because it's only a 4-year program that I would be in, and then I would be kind of back to square one once I finished.
Well, that's definitely something that's really hard to deal with. And just letting you know, on Western Kentucky University's campus, we do have an academic and career advising center.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know we had that.
Yeah. So actually a lot of the students that I talk to don't even know about its existence, which is kind of wild because it's definitely something that I champion as a helper.
Nice.
Because even though I can advise and help as much as I can't provide the full-on help that a counselor at the university would be able to provide for you, just because they're certified, they have the degree in it. So the best that I can do is I can just push you in that direction. And do you feel that because this issue is kind of causing you to be insulated from your friends, that counseling may be at least something you consider in the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As like I'm wrapping up my college experience, I really do think going to some sort of counseling to get some better coping mechanisms as I do leave and start this new chapter of my life could be helpful.
Sweet, yeah, and it won't even just be counseling too. You'll talk to people about how to fill out applications, what it's like to go to grad school, so you kind of can alleviate those anxieties because, yeah, a lot of these people, you know, because they have their degrees, they've gone to graduate school, they can tell you not only from their academic like studies, but from their personal experience with dealing with the programs. So I definitely think that adds an extra level where people can actually really help a lot if students are experiencing anxieties about their future, finding a job, or being as lucky as you are in your position where you can have the choice between what you do in the future. Yeah, I can get in contact with a couple of people that I know from the Academic Career Advising Center.
That'd be so helpful.
I can CC you in an email and then just let it go from there.
All right, yeah, that sounds great.
All right, sounds good. Is there anything else that you want to talk about during this meeting today?
I think that's all. That'll be some good steps I can take forward.
That's all. Well, it was nice meeting with you today.